What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ponytails Podcast. That's my best horse interpretation. If this is your first time listening, thank you for being here. If you're a book person, man, you're in for a ride. This is a lot of fun. Thank you for listening on the episode. Hope you guys enjoy. If you did not sell books, well, let me tell you a little bit about what this is about because it's kind of crazy. So the Ponytails Podcast interviews people who, like myself, sold books door to door for a company called Southwestern Advantage, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Now, this company has been around since 1860 fucking something, and they have been recruiting college kids to do this since like the Civil War, literally. And so there's naturally hundreds of thousands of people who did this program. Some of them did it for one summer, some of them did it for several, almost like a dozen summers of their careers, because they got to travel to different parts of the country, and sometimes, if you were from Europe, the world, and go make a ton of money for a college kid in summer, and of course learn a lot about yourself and grow. But the situations that can come up during an internship like that are kind of crazy, and so we have people come and share their experiences about what they went through when they were doing this program. Some of them are great, some of them are inspiring, some of them are scary, some of them are intense, but overall it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be able to do this and to talk to so many cool people. We have had a blast every single time. Now, if you guys like what you hear, please make sure you go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasting. We're probably there. And leave us a review and subscribe. If you want to support us, if you're a book person and you're saying this is really cool, go listen to some more episodes, but make sure more than anything to subscribe and to leave us a review and to support us by just like turning on your notifications so that when we come up on Monday mornings in your Apple Podcasts, or on Sunday afternoons on your YouTube app, then that way you guys know that there's a new episode that you can go catch up with. So that would be huge for us. You can also support us financially. Of course, we do sponsorships here. You'll hear sponsorships throughout the whole episode, so just be warned, but they're all people who sold books. They're all either companies that are ran by, operated by, or an actual person who sold books. And so we kept it in the family. That way you guys can find out what they're up to, and maybe someone who is looking for what they're offering. So also there is a Patreon that you can go and support us. There's going to be 3 different levels of support that you can sign up for. You'll learn what the specs and details are of those on there, so you can kind of get more details on that for sure. Also sign up for a newsletter if you want to. Go to the ponytailspodcast.com. You'll see there on the screen below, the ponytailspodcast.com. And make sure you put the D on it, pony, and then tails as in stories, podcast.com. You can go check out our newsletter called The Cult that comes out roughly once a month. We're trying to actually figure out if we should make it a quarterly thing or a monthly thing, actually. So, but either way, sign up for that. All you need is an email. We're not going to sell your email to anybody else or anything like that. It's just so we can send you what we're up to and what's coming up on the show. So I think that's all the announcements for sure. Keep a news, or there's some more news coming up about our second Bizzler, but we won't hit you with those until probably later in November or December. But just know that there is a second trip that we are planning, and it's super exciting. So on that note, let me introduce my guest for today, Rachel Schwandt. Let's go. She sold for 3 summers from the year of the pandy. That it's not a Chinese year. I guess it kind of is a Chinese year, but the year of the pandemic, and from 2020 to 2022. And so she went to the University of North Dakota State. North Dakota State University. That's how it's said, not North Dakota. NDSU. Let's go. And her favorite scroll is scroll number 7, I Will Laugh the World, which as a stand-up comic, I am so happy that she picked that. That might be my favorite. I don't know. It changes from day to day and from episode to episode, it seems. Her hometown is in Fargo. And so here is a quick 10-second break for our intro song, and then we'll see you at the other side with Rachel. Ponytails Podcast. What is up? It's Rachel and her dog. For those of you listening, there's a very cute dog in the background. So if you want to turn this into a YouTube thing, check it out on YouTube. We're 4 minutes in, and you can see a very cute dog and a very badass book woman. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Taking over the world. I love my job.
One episode at a time. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Hold on. It's kind of warm in here. I'm going to turn the air on. But Hell yeah, I'm glad you're here. If people listening who don't know, we don't really do much pre-approach on our guests. We don't get to know much information about them. The vibe we're going for is like kind of like that meeting where you hang out at the bar and you meet a book person. You ever had that happen to you? And you find out
Uh,
that they sold books?
no, but I did when we were sitting eating breakfast at sales school one time. Meet a guy sitting across from us who sold books like 50 years ago.
No, yeah.
And he had
That's
no
wild.
idea we were going to be there. He was just like, "Wait, what company are you guys with?" And we told him, and he's like the books?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I did that in college." Like, whoa. And so, like, sales school, like, all amped up, all excited, like, 10 of us kids just like listening to this guy was super cool.
That is wild that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
super
cool.
wild. And I was like,
And
you
did
know, the
you
company's just like right down there, right? And he's like, what?
No way. That's super dope. I think
Yeah.
it's funny because we had Jim Potts on here and he sold in like 1968 and we listened to like these stories that he's telling and they're so similar. They're just as similar as someone who sold this last summer like yourself where it's just like, finding an HQ and like trying to
Yep.
whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just so funny to hear that it's like the same thing from freaking ever. It's
Yeah.
kind of
No,
I don't know
that
if he
actually
told you about that,
happened.
but
Yeah. And
yeah.
it was just this past summer. So I had sold before. So it was funny for the rookies just sitting there. They were like, like,
You know what we need to
what?
do? Tell me you got his contact number. We need to get him on the show.
Oh, I wish that would have been
Nah,
sweet.
no, it'd have been
Damn.
dope.
Shit.
No, could have been a good show.
It could
But
have been a good show. Yes.
see, those are one of those Southwesternisms that we're like, there it is. Could
Mm-hmm.
have been a good show.
Could have been a good summer.
Um, hell yeah. Well, fuck. Welcome to the show then. Thank you for being here. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
Let's
Never been
jam.
on a podcast before.
Oh really? This is your first time? Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully it's all down from here for you. Hopefully. Not
Oh my
hopefully
goodness.
hopefully for sure it's not up from here. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, like what I'm saying is like you're probably gonna be on way cooler podcasts, but hopefully the experience of being on one is not as cool. Hopefully this is it. But who
This is
knows?
it. This is gonna be it. I can feel it.
Could be. Could feel it right in here, right where my heart is, this yellow heart.
Hmm.
Shoot, let's jump in, man. So okay, so you are literally just off the book field then, like this was just your last
Yeah.
summer. What are catch us up in the
Yes.
last couple of months? What are you up to now? What are you planning on doing now that you're like done with the book
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. So I am right now teaching kindergarten in Colorado Springs. I keep 19 kids alive every single day. It's super fun.
Oh my
They're 5.
god.
Yeah, it's been quite the experience. I went to school to be a teacher and I knew I always wanted to teach. Even when I was in Southwestern, it was like I'm there was, one year where I was like, I don't know if I'll ever go back to teaching, but then like I was like, I think I have to. I think I just have to. So,
Fair.
yeah, it's been an experience. I never thought I would teach this young of kids, but here I am and it's been fun. And I am going to get my master's probably here at UCCS in psychology for clinical psychology.
That's crazy. My wife's a
Yeah.
fully licensed therapist, so she's
Really?
like, yeah,
Nice.
she's got a master's, and I don't even know exactly what the specification is, but
Yeah.
or specialization is, but yeah, it's a crazy career. I
Yes,
mean,
it is. It
just
is. And
bananas.
it's
Off schedule time. Are you the listener of the house? Listen, doing sit-ups and push-ups isn't enough. Go to your kitchen, throw out your fucking sugar, and call Seth at Elevate Wellness. Your brain, your heart, your body are gonna thank you later. Go check out the link below.
what I've wanted to do for a long time now. But well, I'm still trying to decide between school psychology and clinical. Um, but I'm hoping one day I'll have my own practice. So,
Hell yeah. That sounds great. And they make a ton of money. That it's actually a good career from a standpoint of like the financial side as well as like the like if you have your own private practice,
more than what
that's
I'm
kind of
making right now as a kindergarten
well, yeah,
teacher.
as a public school, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
no, charter school, actually. It's a charter school.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a pretty different experience. Most of my kids speak Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish.
That's wild.
So, well, I
Wow.
speak a little
Okay.
bit, a little bit, like
Tell
between
me
you.
what do you think are nice. Tell me what like the biggest differences are between a charter school. Like I just went to public school, and I also, well, when I was in kindergarten, I was in school in Columbia, so I don't even really know what kindergarten is even like. So I'm asking for just even for me.
You're asking the difference between like public and charter.
Yeah.
Honestly, still sort of trying to figure that out myself, but the kids wear uniforms, but like it's not, they don't have to. So the way I kind of explain it is a charter school is kind of like a private school, but kids don't have to pay to go to it. So you have to get into it,
Interesting.
but your tuition is paid for and you have to wear uniforms, but it's paid for and like all their school supplies are paid for. So they don't have to go like school shopping and get like folders and pencils and crayons. Like we provide everything.
That's that's crazy. And how come most of your students speak Spanish?
You know, that's the part about charter schools I'm still trying to figure out. Um, they seem kind of like segregated.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
because there's a charter
bananas.
school 3 miles down the road from ours that's like nearly 100% white,
No way.
and ours is 85% Hispanic.
Ah, what?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
This is a juicy onion right here. I'm peeling back some layers of this onion.
But it's
So,
something I just realized within the last like week or two. Because
oh
I mean, I just started
wow.
not that long ago. So it's something I just realized because one of my coworkers went to a training at another school and was talking about it because they're like a high performing school.
What?
Yeah,
That's
kind of crazy.
bananas. So they're a high performing school. Where does yours school like rank, or like what percentile is it in?
Like the lower, like it's Title I funded.
That's no way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I feel
Which
like I
for
need to
people who don't
go.
know what Title I funded means is like basically your test data has to be low enough for you to get funding from the government.
That's crazy. Which is some bullshit because this is like this is touching me in two different places. It sounds whoa, whoa. Um, One, as an immigrant, as a Spanish speaking, not English speaking 7-year old who came here in second grade, and people thinking I was dumb because I couldn't. It's like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
fucking dumb. I just
Yeah.
can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Tell
let's
me
go.
more.
Well, no, I just um it, so I actually I wrote this in my book actually. So one of the things that I recall is looking forward to math class, because that disadvantage of speaking English was not an issue, was not a disadvantage. It was actually an advantage because I was great at math. I've always been good at math. And then because of math, it made me love like math more because I felt at home in some way. I felt safe. So, in English class, sometimes we'd have to sit out and go do ESL class, which is at the time, it's now ELL. We learn English, but then even during science or other things where I needed to know language well,
Hmm.
I was so lost and people thought I was stupid. And my friends
Yeah.
said I was dumb because I wasn't getting good grades. Um, but when it was math time, I was like, let's go, motherfucker. Especially because back then it's like you're adding. But in Colombia, I had already learned to add in first grade in kindergarten. Like we were way ahead.
Hmm.
So yeah, so math was great. And so it's shitty that maybe it's not that's how your school should be funded because of test scores, because obviously you have 85% Hispanic kids who are probably just now learning English for some reason,
Hmm.
especially, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like we don't that's a stupid way to measure intelligence
Yeah.
for kids who obviously are having trouble with the language. Even later, like in sorry, I'm on this rant, but I'm trying to
No,
answer
go
your question.
ahead.
No, like even in like high school. So um my in my school, I graduated number one. I was what would have been considered at the time, or might what be considered at the time, as a gifted student. Right? The seventh grade, they came had me take the SATs and all this bullshit. And then when I went to take the SATs and ACTs in high school, the the score for like English and like the non-science math parts of the test by far the lowest. I mean, I was so low on those, even though I could speak. But the math side, I did great. And so it's all I'm saying is it's stupid that that's how that's being, you know, like assigned to you.
Yeah.
Also that that's segregated. That's crazy. What up, everybody? We're going to do a quick jockey spotlight with Cardinal Cedar Benefits. We're off schedule for a quick minute from the episode. Hope you're enjoying it. Take a sip of your beer. Yeah, that's good. Cardinal helps old people when they're dying because they help them with their final expense insurance. So the senior market is well taken care of for how expensive it is to die. It's a lot. Back to work.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's that segregated, but at the same time, it does provide us more resources for students who
Oh,
need those extra resources, you know, to help them learn English quicker. So,
huh.
because then we
I,
also have ELL services, which are English language learner services, where we have like students who like, or teachers who like specifically teach the Spanish speaking students how to
right.
speak English. So it's like provides the resources at the same time that, you know, we maybe wouldn't have without it for those kids. But yeah, I can't believe how segregated it is. Did you see that? What's in the
Oh,
into?
oh, in the chat, yeah. So
Yeah,
Amy pulled up some information here for people. This is actually super interesting. So hopefully people
yeah.
are liking the conversation. But okay, we have a www.future-ed.org work, school choice, social justice, what research shows. So in a 2017 analysis, data journalists at the Associated Press found that charter schools were significantly overrepresented among the country's most racially isolated schools. I did not know this. In other words,
Crazy.
Black and brown students have more or less resegregated within charters, the very institutions that promise to equalize education. Perhaps it should come as no surprise that in 2010, researchers at the Civil Rights Project at UCLA found in a study of 40 states and several dozen municipalities that Black students in charters are much more likely than their counterparts in traditional public schools to be educated in an intensely segregated setting, which is fucking crazy.
Crazy. Crazy. How is this
Wow.
still happening? Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess,
That's bananas, dude.
yeah.
I learned something today. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. So that's something I've been noticing over the past few weeks, and I'm like, whoa, hold up
Wow.
here.
So
What is
so what
going
would
on?
happen to your point, because that's a fair point where you're saying it helps us get more funding to give more access to those programs. But so does that mean, and I'm not asking you this, I'm just asking as a just a thought, is I wonder if that means that like if you redistributed, so let's say you more evenly distributed that the population where you maybe made all the charter schools be 25% Hispanic or whatever, somehow that was some magically possible just for the theory. I wonder if that means that then would those schools not get ELL funding, or would their funding be enough? Like how would that jeopardize what you have right now? Because it's bananas.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's
That's
a good
interesting. Worth
question.
looking into. If someone actually is listening and ends up it piques their interest as much as it's doing right now for me and for Rachel,
Yeah,
and you want to research on this, please let us know. I would be very curious. I'm probably gonna try to do research on this myself. This has been a, an awakening conversation already. We're 15 minutes and this is crazy, dude.
yes.
Wow. Thanks, Amy, for that information. That
Yes, thank you,
is
Amy.
bananas, man. Oh wow. So okay, so you're thinking, okay, maybe psychology as well. But what do the next couple of years look like for you then? Like
So I
what are you thinking of doing?
signed a contract with this school for 3 years.
I see.
So I'm
Hold it out.
definitely here for three
Right.
years. But I'll probably have my master's and I'll start it in January and then I'll do the 3 year program. So I'll have it done at the same time as when I'm done with
That's crazy.
teaching.
That's super cool. Congratulations.
And then I'll just
Congratulations.
go into that field and start, you know, getting jobs in that field and
Hell
work
yeah.
my way up and have the business skills from Southwestern. So
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that. So, but before I get into how like Southwestern has influenced even already in this point with like the kids and stuff, but
Yeah.
when you go into psychology, is there a specific like type of client you would like to see? I mean, there's so many, like there's a
Yes.
variety, right? So you have like super depressed, you have marriage counseling, you have children's counseling, you have
Yeah.
like, all the
Good question.
what are you trying to go into?
Kids. Kids. Like I want to,
Nice.
yes, I want to work in like childhood trauma,
Yeah.
and I want to like help younger kids get through the things that they're
That's
going through. Yeah.
it's so crazy that there's a need for that.
Mhm. Yeah, oh my God, a huge need.
Like, and I'm talking about like
Well,
just not from like the why is there a war, man? I'm talking about like there's some trauma in
yeah,
some kids'
and
lives. It's
it's
bananas.
all just cycles if you think about it. Like it's like generational cycles of trauma
Yeah,
typically. So really this is just like trauma that's almost like built into them,
it's so crazy.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, hurt the old hurt people adage, but over a
Yeah,
generation instead of like just
yeah.
interrelationally. Um, that's wild. Now, do you think, okay, so twofold question then. How do you think Southwestern has prepped you from like the emotional side of what your job is and will be? Because that's still pretty like you're seeing some real shit and you're seeing real kids in real life, right? So how has it prepared you emotionally? And then how has it prepared you from an entrepreneurial standpoint? Whichever
Yeah,
way you want to take that bite.
yeah. I mean, emotionally, just like self-talk, honestly. Just talking yourself through it, knowing you
Yes.
can get through it, knowing that like I think one thing that I learned, the biggest lesson from my second summer, was to not like resist your feelings and to just let the things that like you feel and happen to you just like happen to you and let like those emotions like come and go,
Mm.
right? Because if you don't
Hmm.
let them come, they can't ever go, right?
Yep.
So you have to let them come and go. And so probably a lot of that, a lot of like, wow, the things I heard and just dealt with in a single day were really hard. And it's okay to like go home and cry and
Yeah.
therapy, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
being okay with like not being okay, right? Because like selling books is like for everyone there becomes like a point where it's like shit. Like I
Yeah.
don't feel good right now. Like this does not
Yeah.
feel good.
Even if you're a
So,
top producer or not, like that, yeah, everybody
yeah,
deals with that at some point. If you're doing it
yes.
right, or even if you're doing it
Yeah.
wrong, actually.
Either way,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just everyone. So,
Yeah. That's such a like critical like realization, I think, in your life when you realize that the way that you handle the emotional side of things is really going to determine most of it.
mhm.
Because then it just makes it easier for a difference in perspective,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you need to get through anything, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
The
It's a
1090 rule, right?
right, exactly. And on that, that's something that you do get prepped pretty well with Southwestern. I will say that you do learn to kind of just master your emotions. Sometimes not
Mhm.
in a good way, but
Mm-mm.
overall in a good way, for
Yeah.
sure. D- with what you said as far as getting through and like cruising through the emotions, what have you found that helps you, like you said self-talk, you said just that reflection, but from a standpoint of really in the middle thick of it, what triggers, or how do you like, hello ponies, I just want to let you know that Will didn't invite me to his wedding. Well, Metscher didn't invite me to his wedding. He says, "Ooh, Andres is one of my best friends." Yeah, thanks, Will. But he is inviting you to learn more about how to help people get out of their own way. If you want to go work with Will, which I wish I was invited sometimes. Anyway, back to work. Realize, hey, I'm in a bad spot and I need to fix it. Like I feel like that's something most people don't have a good grasp on, and you need to be extra good at.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question. Um, Honestly, I feel like for me and maybe a lot of other people, I start to do things that I know are like not good choices, self-sabotaging,
Whoa.
right? And you're like,
Whoa.
oh, I'm doing this thing right now I probably shouldn't be doing. Um, Take a step back, right? You like calm down a little bit. For me, I start to get like like if there's people around me, this is probably one of my worst traits. I start to get really sassy and snappy and mean. And like when I
Whoa.
feel myself start to get like really worked up to the point of like almost being mean and rude, I'm just like, oh, whoa, okay, apologize, step back, breathe, and just like walk away for a second. I mean, even as like a teacher, some days, like you start to get really impatient with the kids, and you're like, sometimes you don't necessarily like feel yourself like totally lose your temper, right? Because they're like 5-year-olds. But like
Right.
sometimes it's like, whoa, these kids are 5. Like, calm down. Like you're expecting a little too much right now, right? And you just like, I don't know. I just get a little worked up sometimes, and you feel it in your chest, you feel it in your body. Just breathe.
I mean, that's understandable. Honestly, I'm shocked and amazed. I am. I have a hard time with other people's kids. It's not that I don't like kids. I like kids, but I think that's something that Southwestern taught me on how to deal with it. But then also because you know what I mean. Like you'd be, and I don't mean to get right into Southwestern stuff. We'll maybe get there here in a little bit, but you know when you meet people's kids and you're like, wow, this is a cool kid. I would hang out with this kid. This kid's awesome. This kid's probably got something to teach me. And then in some houses you would go to and you're like, I'm where's the nearest hospital? I need a vasectomy right now. This is not happening. No, never in my
Yes, I
life.
feel that. Yeah, I
And
feel
especially
that
because I know
sometimes.
myself. It's like, do I
Yeah.
want another one of that?
Wait, do you have a kid?
No. Sweet
Oh,
baby Jesus, no. Not yet. I mean, I want kids. So overall, I want to be a dad. But that's the kind of stuff that sometimes I'm like, wow. And I feel like my kids I'll love and I'll have the patience for, even though they'll piss me off, like you're saying, and all that stuff. But it's other people's kids because I have no
yeah.
biological attachment to them. There's no reason for me to care. Like Louis C.K. talked about this one of his stand-up bits. He's like, I don't if there's a fire, it's not like I'm not gonna just like instinctually want to save you. It's not the same. So and
That's
I feel a
wild.
little bit like that. I feel a little bit
Oh,
like that
well,
because it's like,
I
your
literally
kids. I don't, ugh,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Like grew up raising other people's kids. My mom
You're like
grew
my
up like
wife.
doing at-home daycare.
Oh my god.
Where my mom didn't grow up. I grew up with my mom doing at-home daycare.
Right. I mean,
So, and then I nannied and babysat. I
oh
like
no.
have just raised other people's kids my whole life. Coached,
You're like my wife.
taught.
My wife is the youngest of 6, and
It's
all
like
her siblings have kids except one. So she has like 14 nieces and
sometimes
nephews.
I feel like the only thing I know how to do properly is raise a child. I can't do
No,
anything else.
nice.
Okay,
Hey,
well, okay. I can do other things pretty well, some other things. But like overall, like career-wise, like professional things, the only thing I've ever been able to think of is like take care of kids.
that's cool. No, I commend you. That's great. And I admire you for that because that's it's just like when you see someone like drive a Formula One car or something that's amazing, and you're like, wow, I wish I could do that because I can't do that. That's amazing. That's how I feel about what you want to
I
do.
think that a
Like
lot.
it's from an
Well, thank you. I
awe-inspiring point.
appreciate that. I
Yeah, like I'm
appreciate that.
inspired. Cause damn.
Sometimes I wish there were other things, trust me. A lot of times. Ugh, they drive me
Uh,
crazy sometimes, but I love them.
yeah, no, I feel like that's commendable for sure. That's amazing.
They
Uh,
they I should just like I should literally, oh my God, I should have up to this show like kept a quote book of things that my kids have said to me over the last like week. Like one of them couldn't stop telling me today, Miss Hess, my mom was in the room and my dad farted. Okay. This same kid one day literally was like, Miss S, guess what am I? And like laid down with her head like tucked between her knees and just laid there. And I was like, what? A rock.
you're getting premium
What?
content here. That's good.
A rock.
Great.
That is so awesome. Can you be that for a little longer? You were a lot quieter then.
Be a rock. Hey everyone, we're gonna be rocks. We're gonna have a game whoever can hold the rock pose the longest, and then Rachel takes a nap.
I play the silent game with them. They love it.
That's brilliant.
Okay.
Whoever created the silent game.
My principal is like, how do you get them to be so quiet in the hall?
I sold books, boss. That's awesome. Oh yeah, hell yeah. So okay, so let me talk to you about some Southwestern stuff.
Sure. Hit me
But
with
I'll
it.
let you pick. I'll let you pick the order. Do you want to go from end to beginning or from beginning to end? What makes most beginning to end? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So wind the clocks back. Like the world, some bat is in some soup somewhere. It's just about to break out the cough of 2020.
Before that, a little bit.
How the hell did you run into this interesting
Okay.
job?
This is like this is probably my favorite part about my whole Southwestern experience.
Is this a ponytail then?
No, I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know.
Let's do it now. Fuck it. It's our show.
We're gonna do it now.
Let's do it.
So I went home one night with a guy, right? And at this at this guy's house.
Already. I mean, this story went from good to great in the first sentence. Let's fucking go. Okay.
Okay. So at this guy's house, we all go to like, do some post-game activities, if you will.
Sure.
And there sits the beautiful Avery Housley.
Okay.
Whom I had never laid my eyes on before until this moment. But there was sitting Avery, for those of you who don't know, is the person who recruited me. She's been doing Southwestern for I think she just finished her 7th summer. Yeah. So been in the biz for a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, Avery was recruiting that year at his school an hour away from me. And so we just met and we instantly clicked, right? Like besties, one of those connections where you're like, that person is my person, right?
Boom.
And so she lived an hour away from me at the time, but we would Snapchat, whatever. She dropped off the face of the planet for summer of 2019. She gets back on Snapchat after the summer and she's going all these crazy places, doing all these crazy things. And I was like, what is that thing that you do? And she was like, I'll tell you about it sometime.
Pony.
Didn't tell me about it. I ran into her at the bar one night and I was like, oh my God, Avery. And she's like, oh my God, hi, I know you. What's your name? Great salesperson. No, just kidding. Love you, Avery.
Classic book person. Classic.
And I was like, Rachel. And then we hung out the whole night, had a lot of fun. And she was like, you should come to EDC. And I was like, Orlando? And she was like, yes. And I was like, bro, I have tickets. Wild.
Great.
Also, for those of you who don't know, EDC Orlando is the thing that all the rave book kids do. A group of 40 of them go every single year.
When you say rave, rave book kids is literally a group of book kids who do raves.
And I did raves at the time, right? So I end up going, or actually the people I was going to go with, everything fell through. Broke up with my boyfriend I was going to go with. This friend I was going to go with, I was like, I don't want to be her friend anymore.
All right.
And so I was like, Avery, can I go with you and your friends? And she's like, yeah, let me ask. Yes, go to EDC Orlando with 40 book kids. Avery does an intro with me a couple weeks before. And I was like, not my thing. No, not going to do that.
Oh, you were
not happening. Actually, I didn't tell her no though, because she was my friend. So I was one of those assholes who was like, "I'll think about it," but actually meant no.
You gave her the procrastination objection.
I gave her
Can
the
we think about it?
procrastination.
Can we think about it?
Yes. And she's like, whatever. She's coming to EDC with me with all the book kids. She was not worried
That
whatsoever.
that'll be enough.
She knows I'm a social butterfly. So go to EDC. Literally, like a week after EDC, I was like, Avery, I'm gonna do Southwestern.
Boom. That's how you recruit someone. You just take them to
Because
EDC.
I literally wanted to be friends with all the book kids. Like, how do you not meet a bunch of book kids and like want to be their friends? Not want
That's
to be
right.
their friend. Yeah.
Amy would know from Bisler. Hopefully she wants to be all those people's friends. But no, this is true. I mean, that's how I recruited Danny. Somebody asked me recently, how did you like manage? Because Danny was in high school, and I just took him to GRS. And after I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah. Literally.
That was it.
Exactly. It's the
That's
way
it.
to
And
do it.
GRS. Yeah, no, that's the way. That's the way to do it for sure. So you get in, and then after that, there's no. I mean, that's probably the easiest way to get to make sure that you aren't like an early champion, week 2, or something
I
like that.
didn't even, yeah,
Yeah, you were
I
just
didn't even
in.
do an interview process.
Yeah, you're just in. No matter. Let's do it.
Yeah, AJ just came and met me and like shook my hand and I signed some papers and I was like, cool,
Let's get the fuck
let's
out of
go.
here. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I like to always delve into people's first summer. I feel like it's the funniest part of your book career because that's when you're just the biggest dope at it. Like you just
Yeah.
know, all of us all have that. After the first summer, we don't all have the same experiences, but for sure, like sales school and all that stuff, we all went through it. So, what was that first sales school like for you? Especially since you probably didn't do as a formal of a lead up to your summer, especially because it's a pandemic. So I guess walk me through how all of
Wow.
that broke down.
Actually, so that was in like December, I got recruited. And so then COVID happened in January, or not January. Well, yeah, basically.
Yeah,
But then when the
that
school shut
spring.
down, yeah, and I was working as a para, I graduated that December. So my first summer was actually after I graduated college.
Oh, that's unique.
Yeah. So I graduated, I was working in the schools and I was a para, and so the school shut down. And so I was working and getting paid, or I wasn't working, but getting paid. And so I had all this free time. And so I just studied a fuck ton for my first summer. And so
You
when I
got
got to sales
prepped.
school, yeah, I got prepped hardcore. And so when I got to sales school, I mean, I don't really remember a ton about my first sales school. I remember it was fun. It was huge because they only had one sales school that summer because we did the virtual selling. Oh, that's
Right.
right.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, that's what I wanted
right.
to ask about. I mean, I've had a couple
Yeah.
people who were through that summer. I think you're the second who had that as their first summer. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
curious about. Like, what was it like from your shoes? Because it's definitely
Yeah.
different than every 100,000 or 300,000 people that have done this ever. It's a
I
much different
actually
experience.
I actually went to GRS 2 before my first summer because it was virtual. So I like
Right.
attended that training and then sales school, which was like it was honestly a pretty cool. I liked the virtual sales school because we all like stayed in an Airbnb
Yeah.
in Iowa and we stayed in like this really cool spot, but it ended up being like had a really high crime rate, like really high. So some of us got super freaked out because we were just these like little baby first years. And we were like, why would they put us in a place like this? It was like one of the highest crime rates in Iowa.
Let's
And we
go.
were just like
The hood.
so freaked out, but it like wasn't a big deal at all. I don't know, it's silly. But that was cool staying with just like a bunch of girls in an Airbnb for virtual and then virtual selling. I sold like 200 units during virtual selling my first summer.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
because you
and
guys, that was 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of that? Or
I think so. Yeah.
wow.
So, yeah, I don't know how much that is in profit, but
That'd be $1,600 probably.
16,
No,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. That's not bad for just, doing virtual sales as a rookie. Just straight up,
Yeah.
just start calling people you think you'd buy this.
But yeah, so that was cool. And I didn't really realize I was doing that good because Avery was a good student leader and didn't really like, so just like whatever. And then went into sales school, had a lot of fun in sales school. Um, my first summer was, I feel like I had the best first summer experience that you could like possibly have.
Bet. Let's see it.
I'm
I
like
can tell you.
so thankful for my first summer experience.
Same,
Sold in
man.
West Virginia my first summer.
Ooh.
If you've ever
Oh.
sold books and you ever sold in West Virginia, you know that that is like the perfect rookie place.
Yep.
The perfect rookie place.
Antonio Sanchez.
Yeah,
I just met him. I was in Nebraska and I met him. He's still selling books, but
yeah.
he sold, I think, in West Virginia that summer. Was he in your org?
Yeah. That summer,
Oh
2020.
no, he was just this last. He was there
They
this
were
last
just
summer.
there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
asking him about it. It's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's more to it than just it's bananas. So go on, dive in.
Well, I don't know. First of all, everyone there is like so friendly. Like the most, like you
Yeah.
knock on the door and they're like, "Come on in." They don't even
Can you
come and like
imagine
answer
that anywhere
the
else?
door. Nowhere else. You literally know. No, and you have to like, man, I can't believe I didn't pop a tire that summer. I never in my Southwestern career popped a tire. Had a flat
That's
tire.
also unique. Wow, but even if even in one summer is unique. Most everybody
Yeah,
almost has to fix their tire once at least.
yeah. But straight up those driveways. And I was in southern West Virginia, like the tip, and it's like all mountains. And it's like straight up these driveways. Their driveways are like giant rocks.
That's crazy.
And people there are just like so friendly and they have so many animals. I met this one family that had like almost over 20 some dogs. So many animals.
How do
Everyone
you
has so
feed that
many
many
pets.
dogs?
And
That's
some people had
bananas.
like dirt floors.
No way.
Yeah, like we were in a pretty poor county.
There's people in the United States with dirt floors that have
Yeah.
homes, I should say. Well, I mean, 'cause some people just
Avery,
have dirt floors because they live outside. So
yeah. And their school systems are like piss poor. So like everyone needs like help educationally wise, you know? And it's freaking COVID and these parents are like, I don't know what the frick I'm doing. And you're just there like, hey, you need some resources to help with that.
boom, let's
It
go.
was an
There's
easy summer sales wise.
Yeah.
I
Well,
had
did you run into the money objection often though?
not really, no, because the
Oh,
government was forking out money to people.
that's right. I forgot about the good old check that people got right at May. Hey, did you get that relief check? That's how much all of these book costs at the same time.
People were making more than they ever had.
That's
Like, come on.
Dude, what a weird summer. Did
It
you
was an
but
easy summer.
In West Virginia, it probably wasn't much. People didn't really give a shit about the pandemic much. Probably like they were like,
No, are you
they
kidding
don't
me?
give a fuck if
No.
you're not wearing masks.
I had like two people maybe that were like wouldn't come out of their house and all their neighbors were like, yeah, they're fucking weird. Don't talk to them.
They would live in Portland with Andres because they're
Yeah.
weird here too. Wow.
So it
Mm.
was a perfect summer. And my host mom, amazing. We literally didn't have a host family set up when we got there. And so we just like booked out this Airbnb and it was like a room in like this single lady's trailer home. And we get
So
there
it's
and
like,
like 5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes in, she's like, where are you guys staying all summer? And we're like, we don't know. She's like, why don't you just stay here? So
oh
like
my
didn't have to
god.
look for a host family my first summer.
I'm trying to imagine trying to explain this to someone who sold books. Like if you could go back in time to like 1972 and be like, listen, in 50 years, we're going to go through a global pandemic, which is redundant to say because that's what pandemic means. We're going to go through a pandemic and we are going to have to sell over the internet. and then go knock on some fucking doors. And the way that I'm going to find my host mom is I'm going to match with her on the internet.
No, for real. That is
You explain
crazy.
that to someone in 1995. Like, people today get it. Like, if you would explain that to, like, Jim Potts sold in 68, he knows what all these apps and stuff are. He understands the internet. But I'm just saying, like, just try to explain that to someone if you went back in time.
That
They'd be
guy
like,
I met in
what the
sales
fuck are
school.
you? You're the weird person that belongs in Portland.
Literally. Yeah, so my first summer, perfect first summer. Did
Wow.
did yeah, no
That I'm
complaints.
jealous. That's a great summer. That's a great
Yeah.
summer. Did you ever have a point? Because some people do, some people don't. So maybe this is a no. But did you ever have a point where you're like, "What the fuck am I doing out here? I should go
Oh
home."
God. God, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God, yeah, my first day, Avery, I think Avery's like best story about me is that after my first day of my first summer, I literally called her and I was like, I do not see myself enjoying this all summer. Like, there's no way. My first
well,
day, I was so lost. My iPad died too, so I didn't have a map.
your
And
iPad
kids
died.
in
Oh my
kids in
god.
my generation, they're like, what the paper maps? What are those?
Yeah. I feel so old. I am old. Fuck.
Sorry.
Your iPad died. I
My
died.
iPad died, so I had like no idea where I was going. Didn't even like
Crazy.
scout out the place like before my first day. So discombobulated and like just walking sad. I ended up calling my brother who was in drug treatment at the time. Why I thought calling him would be probably
For
because I
emotional
would feel like
support.
I was doing better than at least someone.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I
although,
don't know.
although, to be fair,
That's how
it
bad
makes
it
sense. It makes sense. Honestly, it's one of those you had to be there, and we all were. And so,
Yes.
in a way, I get it. I get it.
Well, to help us
I
understand.
everybody's been through the worst thing ever. So we've all been at rock bottom, even if it's not the worst rock bottom yet. But whatever that is, we've all been at that rock bottom. So a lot of
So
us, we
to
had it in the book field, and yep, that was. That's some people's rock
uh,
bottom is another person's top step. So it is. I guess that's the real lesson here. I, I guess that's what we're trying to understand. To
is that
make.
nar I don't even know. Is that like
Oh
narcissistic of me now that I think
no, I
about
don't
it?
think
I don't
so.
even know what's going on.
Now you're psychoanalyzing yourself here.
Yeah, I am. Like, damn, Rachel, you really had to
No,
do that.
no, I don't think so. I don't think it's like I don't think it's narcissistic. I think it's funny. And it's true, like,
It's
yeah,
so
that's your
funny.
experience, man. You're here like this fucking sucks. And I think it's because, especially early on in the summer when people feel that way, it's not because you're actually thinking about going home or anything. I mean, maybe you are, and that's okay, but it's because you're caught in a moral dilemma, right? Where it's like I said, I
Uh-huh.
like my word is still valuable. I want to believe that people's words still mean something in 2022 because fuck if they do anymore, right?
Mhm.
On the other hand, this is not fun. This sucks,
Yeah.
you know. But on the other hand, again, it's like I want to be like those people that I had met at EDC, or that I want to be. There's something that they know that I don't, right? So I need to
Mhm.
learn that. But on the other hand, you're like, you know, this fucking sucks. Back to
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. I
damn.
was lucky to have all the friends I did going into my first summer because, yeah, that made quitting like totally off the table, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
That makes
you
sense. Well,
don't,
and sorry, go ahead.
your
I'll hold
first
that
summer,
thought.
you don't know what you have until like
Yeah.
you have it, but like I kind of already had it going into my first summer, what you get like after your first summer.
Yeah.
And so that was another reason I felt like I was so blessed to have the first summer that I did because I knew so many people who had done it that like, and they all believed in me so much that it was like nearly impossible for me to like not believe in myself. So like it just made going into my first summer like so much easier than like I don't know. That's just like the way
Yeah.
they should be doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could talk about of how they should be doing it that we know now, and that you'll learn as you go through your years of non-bookness,
Yes.
non-bookness, new word. But to your point, like, here's the thing. I mean, if you're on the show, it's because you sold at least one summer, with a few exceptions that we're probably going to have here and there, because there's honorary guests like like Tabitha Taylor. She actually never sold, but she's Tabitha Taylor, right? So, um, but relatively speaking, for when I say for the most part of all the guests we've had, they're alumni, which means you got through one summer at least. And what happens after that summer, I don't ever judge people about whatever happens, whether they do better, they do worse, they get off schedule, whatever. But for that first summer, what that means is that, and what if you're here on the show, it means that you didn't quit that first summer, right? You didn't give that up, and you hang that, which is when it's the hardest, and
Hmm.
so in deep down, we all knew, especially we know now, hindsight 2020, is that you were never going to go home. You were considering it. Doesn't mean you were actually it was never really on the table. It was just something that you thought about, because it's impossible not to think of it.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you
Seriously.
didn't.
Seriously. Yeah.
It's interesting. No, we've had people on the show who said that they never felt that way, and I don't. They probably are different, built differently, which is whatever. But in my head, where it makes sense to me, that's hard to understand. I don't understand how that could happen.
Me neither, because you just think of like comfort when you're that uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's just like natural.
yeah. If you're
Me.
out in the cold and the wet, you think of dry things. If it's hot outside, you think of
Yeah,
being
yeah,
cold. You miss. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I
It's interesting that way.
don't know if I believe them.
I mean, I'm not to tell anybody. Who am I to tell anybody's experience,
That's
how it
true.
was? But at the same time, it's not that we don't believe them. It's kind of like how I'll just never understand. I just won't understand. That's okay.
No,
Different experience. We are not made the same. Um,
no.
Damn, that's crazy. So did you know then, as you were going through the summer, that you wanted to come back? When did you realize, oh, I got to do this again?
Oh, I remember Avery asked me, and I was like, no, that's not happening. And then, like, a week or two later, people started getting selected back, and I was like, people are getting selected back? And she was like, what? Like,
Little
and so
FOMO.
then she selected me back, and I was like, yeah. I don't even, I think throughout the week, because when she asked me that the first time, I was like, I just don't think I can leave my dog again.
Which is fair. Totally
Fair. It was
understandable. Yeah.
hard. It was really hard. She's like, I don't, I don't, she gives me comfort when I'm like not okay. When I'm unwell, she's like how
Yeah.
I cope with things.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
nice.
was hard, doing that hard of a thing and not having her, and also knowing that it's just like not good for a dog to just like leave them for 3 months like every year.
Yeah.
And I had her
Yeah.
before I like here she comes. I had her before I like committed to Southwestern. Did you know I was talking about you?
She's so cute.
um, but yeah, anyways, and she's like, "Well, I don't want a dog to hold you back from like being the best that you can be," or something southwesterny like that she said to me. And so then that week I was like, yeah, I guess she's probably right. Like Charlie will be fine. I should probably do it. And then she selected me back mostly because I just had the competitive spirit of wanting to be selected back. So I was like, yeah.
Boom.
And
That's how
then
they
I
get you.
didn't second guess it until I was driving to my turf test somewhere.
Oh, way past sales school. So you're sitting here in
I didn't go
2021.
to sales school my second summer.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What? ¿Por qué
Yeah.
no? Oh, because school got out late.
Yeah. Because I was teaching and I actually went to the field a week before school even got out, but I was still late to getting on the field. So,
Were you
yeah,
recruiting?
I was, yeah, I was recruiting.
How are you recruiting? And or did you quit your job? Like, how did that work?
I did both. I taught and
Wow.
then I would come home and I would recruit from like 4 to 9:30, 10 every night for the
Well, how did
first going into my second summer, and then I full-time going into my third summer. So then I did stop teaching for that year. But
so so did you float or how did you do how do you recruit at four when like go to survey night classes or what?
I just recruited people I knew.
Oh, you went the far way.
And I did it through Instagram. I Instagram recruited.
Again, explain that to someone who's 68. How? How does that even work?
I don't You just like literally follow people and then message them.
Wow. This
And
is a
you're
new era of Southwestern for sure.
Yeah,
Holy
it
cow.
was too because that was after 2020, and so all even full-timers were Instagram recruiting because you couldn't go on campus. Nobody was really allowed on campus.
Us book people, we just find a way. It seems like
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
so wild.
some campuses were, but some campuses weren't, and so a lot of people just virtual recruited.
And what was the return rate? I'm actually curious. So, did you find success, or like how was that compared to like regular surveying or whatever? Like I know, for example, so to give people context for for this question, so if you in the summer, so I full time one summer, my last summer, and so I full timed for January from GRS all the way to the sales school year, which is like early May, sales school week. And the way it works is the first 2 weeks you're just collecting names and you're doing it by surveys where you're going out handing, you guys all know this, you hand out the name cards,
Mhm.
people fill them out. But the thing is they told you is you wanted about 1,200 to 1,500, if not more, names. Like just people who said, yep, I'll be curious to hear more about this. They filled out the survey. Somehow you got the referral. You needed about 1,500 names to call. And then literally from week 3 towards the finish line, you are dialing every night of the day. Like
Mhm.
every day, except for
Ah,
Saturdays.
full timing.
It's brutal. Honestly, full timing is this is where I'm
Is
like, this is
it?
where the money's not worth it. Personally, it's just like, no, no, not worth the money. And people will disagree with me on that, but if really you're not really doing it for the money anyway, so it doesn't matter. But there's no way it's worth the money because you're working hours, 80 hours from January till the end of the summer.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 1,200 names. So how do you? I mean, that's the name of the game before the pandemic. So now I'm asking you this from a standpoint of like, how did you get the names? How did you get walk me through what that looked like and what was the success rate? If you had 1,200 names in January and you got a 10-person team that you were cooking oil, you're like, that was great. You're cooking with oil, 15, 20, that'd be gold. Like that'd be top of the class. Right. So how did
Mhm.
those numbers play out when you were Instagram recruiting?
Basically just double the metrics. So, like,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, like if you want the
What?
same success rate, you have to basically like double that. So like however many survey names you get, like if 1,200 is your goal for survey names, message 2,400 Instagram people.
Wow.
Because
What?
essentially you're looking for open-minded people. Yeah. And it's like
Name of the game. Yeah. I mean, that's selling
name of
and
the game.
recruiting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like they have to be really open-minded almost to like follow.
Hello, hello. Off schedule moment. Wanted to tell you about Southwestern Real Estate. They're 99% drama free. Only 99, not 99.9. So it's a bit spicy. Kind of like this episode. Anyway, they will learn you to kick ass at real estate. So make sure you guys click the link below. Get in touch with them. Okay, back to work. Bye.
Through with everything virtually. And so it's like from the beginning to the end of it, they have to be almost more open-minded than like someone. But at the same time, everyone understood that it was COVID and that you couldn't do things in person. So it's like maybe some people who would maybe be like, this might be a scam, would have been like, I guess everyone's doing this kind of stuff virtually right now. So I feel like
Oh,
there's a lot
interesting.
of little factors like that that might kind of go into like what you're asking, but basically just double the metrics and you'd get the same success rate. In my opinion, was how to do it.
Hmm. So how did you avoid getting like bad PR or like getting your account flagged? Because I know that can happen if you like DM too many people. Instagram's like, whoa, cool it. Like this is you're spamming people. You can't do that.
Um,
Or did you ever run into that?
you, yeah, you message people until they do that. But they don't ever like block your account or anything. They just you message people until they stop you from messaging people, and then they let you message people again the next day.
Oh, okay. And but then
Yeah,
how many? So
it
if you're
was a
doing that for,
grind.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's almost even harder. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And did you ever get people who are like, you messaged my friend yesterday? I know this is total bullshit. Like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
you'd have
some
to like
people
get
would
people
say
who
some
follow
shit
the
like that.
people that follow the people. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Whoa.
Well, yeah. But I would send them all like initially this sort of same message, but I would like reply like small things back to like make it not the same message all the time.
Mm. And how's that
I don't
approach?
know.
I'm so curious. This is
It's
crazy to
good.
me. Like to
I
hear
mean,
about this is bananas.
I brought, I think, oh my God, I don't even remember. I think I had at least 5 PSLs, but I only had one person come out. And it was my first time recruiting. Did I have 2 people come out? I'm like, I can't believe I have a really bad memory.
They're gonna remember this. They're gonna listen to this and be like, "How did you forget me?" The best part is both of them will think
I
it's
hope
you.
not.
Both of them are gonna think that you remember them, so don't worry about it. Or they might both think that you forgot them. Either way,
Yeah, I don't know. I hope not.
either way, we've
Um,
accounted for it.
but yeah, anyways, it was okay. It was my first time recruiting and I only recruited like part-time.
Okay.
And
Oops, we're off schedule again, everybody. I just want to let you know the average agent at Cardinal Senior Benefits works about 31 to 34 hours a week, which is a lot less, about 50 less than we were knocking door to door. Holy shit. Anyway, back to ponytails. No, yeah, because you were working
yeah,
a full time job and doing,
yeah.
you had shit
But
to do.
the one I did bring out wasn't Instagram.
That's so crazy. That means that at some point I'm gonna be
Mhm.
interviewing book kids. We're gonna be like, well, I got this DM from
Yeah,
wherever. Like,
yeah, you might be actually. There's quite a few out
that's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, that is
Year of the
crazy.
pandy.
Yeah, the Vandy.
Chinese year. Let's go.
Yeah.
Mm. That's wild, man. That is so crazy. I can't believe that even like just the that you know the metrics that well. I mean, I can believe it, but it's just I never even would have thought of that because that goes to show that if you do this enough with any sort of thing that you're doing on social media, you will get the numbers at some point. Because like
Yeah.
because here's what's crazy is you got even if you only got one, even if it's just one, and they were an Instagram person for sure, through social media, through just sheer number like doing the numbers, you can guarantee at least one human being from sending the same message over and over will go,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll go knock on doors door to door
Oh,
for 80 hours a week on straight commission. That just is fucking crazy.
are you kidding me? That's my favorite part about sales and business. Is like all it takes is metrics.
Yeah, that's
All it takes.
so wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild. Like that is the epitome if it's a numbers game. Is you
Mhm.
what did you do? I sent out 24, I touched my phone in the right places 2400 times. That's and then what happened? And then someone came to sell bookstore to door and maybe met their husband. Like, can you imagine if they had
Yeah.
like met their husband or wife or whatever, and then they had a kid, and then that kid's like, "So, how did you guys meet?" And it was like Rachel touched her phone, and you brought life.
Whoa, that would have been wild. Yeah,
That's
why
crazy.
couldn't he have
Like,
met anyone?
I think that often I have a nephew, my brother. I recruited my brother. And it's like, where do you any place in this story that you, because you met Aisha, right? And then they got
That
married and now they
is
have
kind of crazy.
now live, right? But here's what's
Yeah.
even crazier is anywhere in this timeline that you like interject, like if you were to look at it like in a video, like when you're looking at a video and you can like move the cursor to whatever point of the episode, like anywhere you drop it, it's bananas that happened, right? Like you could drop it
Uh-huh.
where it's like the day that Danny said the thing that Aisha was like, "Wow, I'm gonna marry this man." You could start it from there, and would make sense. But you could start it from the fact that I was like, I didn't go to my info session because Barcelona was playing, and then Messi missed a penalty kick, and I thought that it was so they got kicked out of the Champions League, and so I thought that was a bad omen. So then I called Steve Thyden back and asked him to please let me do another info session, which then led me to my info session. And you could go back to like because Messi missed that penalty kick. Now Bako is a human.
No,
You know what I'm
Mexico is
saying? Like you could go back and then you could go further back, like when Fred Landers, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Well,
what's
that's what they
crazy
call the
about
butterfly
all of it.
effect, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is the first flap of the butterfly is bananas at any point in time that you want to start. I mean,
Yeah.
like you can even go
Whoa.
to the point where like mommy and daddy loved each other very much, and even the fact that life starts there is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let alone Messi missing the greatest of all
Uh-huh.
time missing a PK. Like it's crazy all around.
Well,
That's the
my
craziest thing about life.
my boyfriend and I met him through Southwestern, so Avery may in the future
Yeah, exactly.
be a creator of life.
Yeah, and what if like what if like yeah, what if it comes out? What if it works out that way and you have a child and you're like, wow.
Wild. Even though I
Yeah,
don't want to
because
have
all
kids.
because you went to EDC.
Oh, because I went to EDC.
And however you get those
Man,
concert tickets.
EDC.
Crazy. The point of the story is everything you're doing right now is bringing life into the world. All of this. If you just farted,
Crazy.
it's that brought life into the world. And so at some point.
I'm gonna have cool dreams tonight. I can already feel it.
Butt blown. Let's go.
Oh my
This
god.
is this is what we get up to here on the Ponytails podcast. This is what we
This is it.
wow.
Pinnacle.
How fucking insane. I think we're at 4.
For.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So we go to the summer number 3 and the last summer. So let's talk about maybe what happened and why you left and how that summer went, and then we can
Yeah.
get to ponytails. Unless you got other stories you want to tell. I mean, I'm here to chat for as
Oh
long
my
as you want.
god.
So
I still don't remember the ponytail. Okay, let's see here. So my third summer was
and this is like this summer. We're talking about 4 months
yeah,
ago.
like this summer,
Yeah.
like yeah, recent. In Santa Claus, Indiana. This whole
No,
town,
there's a town called Santa Claus, Indiana.
this whole town
Shit,
is
man.
decorated in Christmas themed year round. Like Santa statues everywhere.
That's a nightmare. Mariah Carey is on the radio all year. Is that what you're telling
It's
me?
a Hallmark
I don't
dream.
want
What
a
do you
lot
mean?
for Christmas.
Get this, get this. The best part, there was an amusement park there called Holiday World. And it was this giant amusement park and huge roller coasters. Huge. And there was like
Ooh,
each section of the park was a different holiday.
look at this. Look at this bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh
there you
man,
go.
if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I highly, highly recommend go find the YouTube, scroll over to an hour 6 on hour 7, and check out this screen because this is outrageous. Or go Google this. This is outrageous.
Yeah. And I lived in this gated community called Christmas Lake Village, and it literally had this like man-made lake that was in the shape of a Christmas tree. And it was a gated community, so I would pull up every night and be like, Rachel Schwandt, and they'd be like, and I'd be like, fuck yeah, bitches. Let's go. I'm rich,
Wow.
bitch. No, just kidding. No,
I
but it was
just see
cool.
this. I see this and I'm gonna go, oh, say, can you see where else in the world?
Literally, where else? Where else? And yeah, but I worked in the county over. Actually, Third summer, I had like 4 or 5 different turfs within my first like 2 or 3 weeks.
Where were you at? Elf Town?
I was in I was in Kentucky for the
Rudolphville?
first part.
Oh.
No, I lived there. I actually didn't work there.
Oh, okay. I figured the
Yeah.
surrounding towns would also be named something about Christmas.
No, actually.
Bethlehem. Something,
Is
something, Mrs. Claus. Die Hard.
no, that's all the streets were named like Rudolph and Mistletoe and stuff like that.
Okay, well, sorry. So you got kicked out 4 times.
Okay, yeah, basically, right? Super fun. Shift turfs a bunch. Um, my third summer, I full time recruited and I brought out like 5 people,
Let's go.
and 2 finished, so 3 went home. My first one, we lived together, just her and I. And first day on the field, I come home and all her stuff is gone.
Nice. You want that day
Didn't
one?
even,
You want that day
and
one early champion? Let's
get
go.
this, she drove all the way from California. So she had to drive all the way back to California.
Which means she probably drove through Kansas and or Nebraska and or Oklahoma, and yikes. That
Yeah,
sucks for her. That means that she thought
long
that, that
drive.
was
And she's
better than selling
doing
books.
summer. What? I can't
Wow.
believe anyone would think that. It's crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah, I came home to a note and her stuff gone. And that was like, okay, cool. So, and also we were staying with this Mennonite family. And like I had to drive through like this like pasture of just like a ton of fucking cows. Just all night long. Just
I'll
like
do it. I got it.
so good.
That's my real moo cow. That is not a sound effect for those of you listening.
Did
That
you
is
just say
my.
moo cow?
That's a real moo cow sound.
Moo cow sound.
Yeah, I can do it.
It's so
I
good.
sold books to someone that way once.
It's so good. That's hilarious. But yeah, so that was, and it was like ant infested and like beetle infested. So when she left, I was like, I'm not staying here. I went and got a hotel at like 1 a.m. Stayed in a hotel. Went to New Turf. I don't remember why that didn't work out. Oh yeah, because I didn't get my permit, and then I went to the courthouse to get it, and they told me the person was out, so I couldn't get it. And so then I was like selling books, knocking on
Knocking.
doors, and I knocked on the wrong person's door, someone who worked at the courthouse and saw me that day. She was not very happy with me, to say the least. Had some choice words, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna skirt out
What
of
did she say
here.
to you?
Oh my God, I don't even remember. She was like, do you have your permit? And I was like, I think I was trying to say some bullshit. And she's like, I know you don't have your permit because I work at the courthouse and you're not supposed to be out selling right now. And I don't even know what she was having a hissy fit about, but whatever.
I have my thoughts on this. Well, we'll circle back to that. I'll just put permits on the chat just to remember.
Yeah. And it was stupid because they were like, she's going to be out for 15 days. And I was like, I'm not supposed to work for 15 days? Like, you don't have anyone that can, like, replace her, like, sign her signature real quick? Like, what? So yeah, that was stupid. And then I was like, nope, New Turf. Went to New Turf. And then that one worked out, finally, I think. And that one was good to me. Tell City, Indiana. I don't really think much crazy stuff happened that summer, honestly.
But what did you decide it was your last one?
Oh, why did I decide it was my last one? I just realized that, like, selling and okay.
Here we go.
Here's the scoop.
Here's
Here
the tea.
is a
Let's go. The scoop.
the black books
Scoop.
aren't helping anybody.
Spoken by a teacher, an educator.
For as much as they cost, they help no one. Dun, dun, dun.
Damn.
Okay, like don't really believe in the products that much, honestly, not super convicted. Um,
which is
because
okay. That's just your opinion. Don't be hating on her if you're
yeah,
like a pro self-hosted person. You're like,
sorry, just
why
my
should dare
opinion.
she? It's an opinion.
Sorry.
Get over it.
I mean, I am a
You get
teacher.
you've been told things. You've been told worse things at doors than whatever
Yeah,
Rachel's saying. So anyway, go ahead. So you're
yeah.
not convicted in the product. That's okay.
Not convicted in, I mean, the price of the product and like the things that people could be getting for what they're paying. So, anywho, I just realized it wasn't like feeding my soul,
Mm,
and
yep.
it wasn't. I didn't feel like I was doing good 100% of the time. Um, I felt like it was very, for me, this is like super personal for me. I felt it was for me very ego driven.
Mm,
And maybe that's something that, like, yes, is partially just me and I need to partially work on. But for something where it's like they try to say that, like, like they're like, you're not your units, but like,
yeah, you are.
you kind of are your units. Like, let's be honest here. Like, people know certain people in the business because they've sold a lot of units. Like,
Mhm.
that's just like, it is what it is. And so it's like, for me, it just became very, I was recruiting out of ego based reasons and doing everything out of, I felt like, ego based reasons. And I didn't feel like it was the greatest impact I could be having on people with like the certain gifts that I feel like I do have when it comes to working with kids, especially like what I know when it comes to trauma and how that like affects people. And like that's not something that a lot of people are willing to work in.
Yeah.
Um, but like business and entrepreneurship is. And so it's like I just felt like personally I could be having a much bigger impact elsewhere, doing what I actually have always wanted to do. You know, like I went to college to be a teacher. I graduated to be a teacher. I never changed my degree.
Yeah. You knew this
Like,
is what you wanted. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I always knew I wanted to work with kids. Like it's never been a question for me. Um, and it's something I've always been like felt like I've been pretty good at. So, and then I found out I was good at sales too. And for a while there, I was like, maybe, maybe I could do business and recruiting. But then I just realized the only reasons I would want to do that were for ego based reasons, like the lifestyle that it can create, and not for like actual impact. So,
Yo. First of all, snaps to you because that is legit. That's a great realization about yourself. It's
thank you.
amazing, and maybe we can get into this a little bit because you've experienced it from your end. But you touched on this, and I wanted to dig into this because it's been a while since we talked about this, and we're here, so fuck it,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Um, is the in my opinion, if the core of the recognition that a company offers, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just saying, just yeah, is if the nature of the core of the recognition that you offer employees is based on production, you cannot simultaneously say that their production does not equal or in some way affect their value. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If you want to
Yes.
say, hey, look, we recognize people who sell the most books everywhere you look, whether it's the superstar book or the pace setter or GRS or who gets to hang out with the top people in the company,
Mm-hmm.
or who gets invited to weddings and where they set up those weddings, to like maybe more subliminal things, kind of like who gets Christmas cards and who doesn't, who continues to be your friend and who doesn't after you leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear, whether by the things that the people at the top say and by the things that they don't say, but that what they put out, what they don't put out, that the recognition is completely solely based on production and units,
Mm-hmm.
which again, by the way, totally fine. That's the way our society
Totally
is.
okay.
We talk about billionaires in their top class
It's the
because
type
blah
of
blah blah,
business
and they
that
have
it
the most
is.
money.
Yeah.
100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that, actually. In fact, I think that drives good competition. I think people who are the right fit for the right company based on that culture can
They
really
thrive in
excel
that.
and do well.
Mhm.
Great. Good job.
Mhm.
However, you cannot at the same time do that and say, "Oh no, you're not your units or you're not your
Mhm.
production," because
Yes.
that is utter horseshit. That is
It's a
complete
fact you should accept.
100%. That's why our merch is
Yes.
completely. Have you seen our merch? Oh my gosh, I gotta
No.
show you this picture. Hopefully I can find it. It's on our Instagram, actually. So we have, I gotta show you this just because we're here. We have merch that's like that has the words unit on it. By the way, if you guys want this, it is on our website. You gotta go on your computer, and go. This is shameless promotion. There it is. That's our sweatshirt.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Isn't that sweet?
That's so
That's
funny. That's so funny.
and
Yeah,
here's
and you're right. There's nothing wrong with it. There literally isn't. It's like the nature of the business.
yeah, here's this.
That's
This is my
just not for some people, and that's
This
okay.
is one of our fans. This is one of our fans here. Here, yeah. I agree with you. And put this up. Here's one of our fans wearing it. I was with him there.
That's so
As,
funny.
isn't that hilarious? But again, like back to what you're saying. So yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You just can't turn around and like pretend to be genuine with someone and tell them that that's not what it's about, because it's totally what it's
Right.
about.
Right.
Or on the other hand, you can totally make it not about units, but then when you like, give incentive trips based on production.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it goes.
Right.
Like it can't.
Yeah.
And look, people are going to disagree with this. It's just my opinion. People are going to disagree with this, but don't give me this bullshit about how you care, because I personally, and I have 160 some odd episodes at this point now, where I could almost accurately say that most of the people that have been on the show would agree with what I'm saying right now. How do I know? Because I've talked to them about this, even
Yeah.
if it wasn't on the air. With a majority of them, I don't, who's to say who's what, um, but that's true. It's just the way it works. When you stop getting Christmas cards from people who you thought were your friends after you leave, that's an odd
Mhm.
realization. When you just don't get to spend as much time, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but
Yeah.
it's just how it runs. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because 100% you are your units, and it's okay. If I was them, I
Yeah.
would own that. I would own that
Yeah.
100%. Like, yeah, that's right. We
I would
believe
too.
people who are badasses. Great. That's not to say that people who don't do well in books are not badasses. They're badasses in their own right. It just wasn't
Yeah.
here. But we like to hang out with people who are badasses at the thing that we do. Great. Cool.
Cool.
No problem. Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
Nobody cares.
Just own it, though. Don't be fucking
We're
assholes and be
real
like, it's not
friends.
that. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad. And it's actually worse, because when people later on and leave and find that out on their own, that is the case, you're like, oh, man. And it just leaves this really bad taste in your mouth with the people that you used to talk to, because you're like, we used to talk every day.
Yeah.
And now you haven't
Yeah.
asked me about how I'm doing in 2
In a
years.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm prepared for that, honestly. I think like the day a part of like the whole thing I was talking about I learned my second summer, like feeling what you feel. That
Mhm.
like really played into like me literally driving away from Indiana my third summer and like just
Tell me
like
more about that. Yeah. Because I know there's a story with this, right?
yeah, so I left a little earlier than planned because I got this teaching job that, to me felt like so okay, let me just rewind here. So I midsummer, Baron and I, my boyfriend, who also sold books this last summer and was his last summer, we decided we were going to live together this coming up
Let's go.
year, and that we were going to live in Colorado Springs because he's actually working with Southwestern Real Estate and he's working with the brokerage here. And this is just where we picked. And so I was like, okay, Colorado Springs, anywhere in Colorado, expensive as fuck to live, right? Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
need some kind of proof of employment that is not Southwestern, that is like, an actual like proof of employment for the
A
whole year.
bi-weekly or monthly paycheck. Yes.
Right, exactly. In order to get us an apartment. you know, like not like a really crappy broken net, like a good apartment, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to apply to substitute teaching jobs. So I was doing this midsummer applying. I applied to two things. I applied to one that was um, like an LLC where they hired subs for like 50 different schools in the Colorado district. And then like the schools paid them as an LLC for their subs.
Mm.
And then I applied to this one charter school that just hired guest teachers as like just their very own guest teachers, where you'd be there like multiple days a week. And did the interview for the substitute teaching position, and they were like, you know, we have a kindergarten teaching position available, and we like you and your experience. Is this something like, would you want to do this? And so then this puts me in
Mm.
a pickle, right?
That's right.
And so I'm
Big
like, well,
old cucumber pickle.
big old cucumber pickle. It's like, yes, teaching is what I want for my further future, but I know that I made this commitment until the end of the summer. Well, until the end of like this 14 weeks, because I was going to stay out longer than the 12 weeks. And yeah, so it put me in a pickle, but I was like, this is what I want for my, you know, further future. But I was also an AOL. So it's like, and there were still some rookies out there. So yes, there was like a part of it that was like, that was not the best decision to make for my org and for my team. But I had to step back and kind of make a selfish decision.
I wouldn't call it selfish, but you're your own person, so you can do whatever you want. But yes, I understand.
I mean, there wasn't many out there left because
It's not
there was like
selfish.
one or two. So like, you know, the people at the top, I'm not gonna say names, but more and more, they didn't make me feel the best about that decision, right? And it's like they were like, I wish you would have came to me before you made this decision. And it's like, well, you wouldn't have wanted me to make the decision that was best for me.
Yeah.
You would have wanted me to make the decision that was best for the org. And those are two very different decisions right now, as much
Yeah.
as that sucks.
Yeah.
And so it was hard leaving. And so when I left, I knew that that was something that was going to be talked about within my organization. And I felt as though as I was leaving, I was letting go of some friendships.
Yeah. That's a shitty place to be. And I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. But I just let myself feel that. And I was like, you know what? Like exactly what you told me. Like the people who are actually my friends are going to continue to be my friends. And the people who were just my friends because I was doing the same job as them, whatever. It's like not that big of a deal. And
Yeah.
I just like for a second let myself feel like nervous and anxious and like cried a lot and like, you know, let myself feel it all, wiped the tears away and got on my fucking way to my new job. I moved from Indiana to go get my stuff in North Dakota to Colorado to start my new teaching job from the interview to the start date in a week.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So how did you do checkout and stuff?
I did it online. I didn't go back to Nashville. I just transferred my books to people that were still out on the field and
Doing sales school online. Just again, another one. It's like,
yeah.
what the fuck are
I
you
did
talking
my
about?
delivery and delivered all my books and transferred the leftovers and checked out online.
That's bananas. Okay, so a couple things. Can I dig into this, or do you? I mean,
Sure, yeah, dig
okay.
into it.
I mean, I understand where people would say that was selfish, right? Because you're saying, you know, you got an organization that you're responsible for, people that you recruited that are here for you, right? Or maybe they're not, maybe some other person's kids, but whatever. But you're the organizational leader or assistant organization leader or whatever. People look up to you, blah 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 blah. And you know what? That's fair, and that's a valid option. That's a valid point, 100%. I feel like selfish though would be if you just quit. If you were like, I'm going home because this is too hard. That's selfish because what's happening is you're doing something that you don't have to do. You're doing something that you're choosing to do for yourself, as in like to make yourself get away from a situation. Does that make sense? You're
Yeah.
running away from it, right? you weren't
Yeah.
running away from Southwestern. You were running towards your future, towards your career, towards your what you
Yeah.
cared about most, right? And I feel like it's a stark difference because you didn't leave because you were scared or because you were off schedule or because it got too hard. No, you were a 3-time book person. You did a great job, right? You had it. You gave blood, sweat, and tears to this damn thing, and now you were doing what you had to do, not
Yeah.
what you know what I'm saying. Like nobody has to go home and quit. That's looked down upon, right? That I would say, hey, no, just fucking finish your commitment. There's 2 more weeks, finish it. And again, I don't even know all of the details of all those people that might have done that, so I'm not trying to say that. So it's a case by case scenario. But in your particular case, that's not what happened. What happened was you said, hey, look, this is where I go from an internship, which is exactly what the fuck this is. That's it. It's an internship. You sold it as an internship. It's
Yeah.
an internship into my life career,
Yeah.
into my future with a man, with your man, right? You guys had made the decision together. It could be like for whatever reason. Is that right? And so it's like, but it was something that you knew that was going to happen at some point in time in your life, and B, an opportunity came up, and timing is everything in life, right? And they said to you, hey,
Yeah.
you got to be here next week,
It is. And
right?
they did say that because they had already started school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like it was a choice.
Like
That's
they
what I'm
were
saying. So
without a
it wasn't,
teacher.
the choice was made for you by the past self of you that said, hey, at some point, I'm not going to sell books and I'm going to go into teaching. That's when
Yeah.
you made that choice. Does that make sense? It just happened that was the timing. So if anybody ever tells you that you were selfish for leaving or that you made a mistake or that you should have been, fuck them. Okay? Fuck them
Amen.
and fuck them all. This is now the 9th fuck I think I've said. Um,
Yeah.
it's
We
on
got
the
to get to
screen.
the double
Fuck.
digits. Fuck.
Fuck. There you go. All right, 12 we are. It's at 12 now. Um, but honestly, because that is not, it's selfish of them to say that. Because at that point, it's literally, if you, again, it goes kind of back to the thing where it's like, if you're telling me that your value is in helping young people become the best version of themselves so they can pursue their goals or whatever the fuck that mission statement's supposed to
Yeah, that's
be,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Then when Rachel Schwandt, who has given you 3 years, which is like 80 hours a week times 12, that's 700, or that's 840 a summer times 3. So that's
Well, I was recruiting too, freaking after school hours
right.
and full-time
Yeah,
recruited.
yeah.
Like,
I'm just saying, just even from the standpoint of
damn.
sales, that's like
Yeah.
that's times 3 summers. That's 20. That's 2,520 hours or something like that. I don't know if I'm doing the math right. But the point is, over 2,500 hours, right, of your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You to this internship, which is what it is. It's an internship. After that, if you really care about her future, when she fully, like, I'm assuming you never really said, I'm going to be a DSM someday. Like, people knew that this is what you wanted to do, especially because you were working full time as a teacher and recruiting, right? So if at that point they're going, what, you're leaving, fuck them. I'm sure they're great people, but at that point, fuck them, because that is almost exclusively a financial decision on their part, and that's selfish on them,
Yeah.
not you. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
My thoughts on
I
it. Sorry, I
appreciate
tore
that.
into that.
I appreciate that. I mean, full disclosure, there was one point where I was like, maybe I could see myself as like a DSO. And there were people
I mean,
talking
we
in
all
my
have
ear,
that.
like
Yeah,
people
we all have
talking in
that.
my ear, like you could be a DSO one day if you wanted to. You could
Yeah.
be a DSO one day if you wanted to. That's also something that we could get into is how they
Yeah.
kind of dangle that over people's heads. Um, but I mean, I'm also like, yeah, it was not the best. I honestly like it took a while for me to heal from that, but it didn't take me that long to heal from that ending of Southwestern. Um, because overall, for the most part, like my Southwestern experience was fuego. Like I had a great
Yeah.
Southwestern experience overall. It's just like the ending, it's like sometimes
But that's,
Virgie Sanford talks about this, like shit in the cookie dough. Like how
yep.
much shit does it take to ruin cookie dough? Just a
Yeah.
little bit, right?
Not much.
And
Yeah.
so it's like,
Unless you're making dog treats.
yeah. And part of that is like, right, my own choices. Like I can take full ownership of like some of that ending being, partially my own choices, right? Because whatever. Like I probably could have found a job, like finishing my summer, still found a teaching job, but that's also like not the best option for kids and for like your classroom and for like the teaching side of things, right? So it is what it is. There's a lot of aspects to it that a lot of people will probably never understand, and I'm totally okay with that. But it feels really good to like be able to kind of like come on this podcast and like talk a little bit about that because I know that there's people in my organization, like an OGJYD, that are probably gonna like listen to this and they might have heard like other things from other people about like how it happened and why it happened. So it feels good to be able to come on here and be like, this is what happened. So thank you for that opportunity.
Well, I'm honored that you're saying that. So thank you. And I'm honored that you're willing to share it and that you're here talking about it. And again, and on that, actually, this is where my brain went that you said that. So on that, like, I feel like the reason, so it's kind of a bittersweet for me, or like a double-edged sword. I don't know if it's my second language, so I don't know what the term here is. But what I'm saying is, like, based on everything you just said, nice.
Sorry.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened on the show, like on camera. That's awesome.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I will
People
leave
who
it to
know
what
me would
happens.
expect nothing
Nothing
less.
less. Fair enough.
No.
I'm still jamming, so all good there. But really, kind of how this pertains, everything you said, how it pertains to the show, since you brought up like being here and be able to share on the show. Like, so people know that that's kind of what we do here. We just kind of come and talk, and your experience is way different than maybe Dave Causer, who's now the president of the company, who we've also had on the
Yeah.
show, right? So
Yeah.
it's all about perspectives, but that's kind of the point of being able to be here. But here's how I feel about all this. On the one hand, it's sad because kind of like what Virgie said, is it's sad that so many people that we've had on the show have had a similar experience to you, where it's like if it just never ended that way, and they were just like, hey, you know what, we honor what you're doing, we honor that you want to move on to your career, and we're proud that you were doing this, and we're thankful to have met you. Go on. How might those feelings be different for you now? How might you look back on this experience now? How, and the next years to come? Because I can tell you, there's people who left the same way you did, or in similar fashion, or had the similar experiences, who I talked to, who have been gone for 10 plus years, and still feel like, kind of like you said, summers were great, had a phenomenal experiences. People that I met on the book field were the best men and women in my wedding, right? Like that kind of stuff. But, and there's always this but, and then something similar to what we just talked about. So that's sad. That is so common.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's what makes the show work.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people can come and talk about it for the first time ever, really
Uh-huh.
openly, and go, you know what? No, I mean, this sucked. Like, this is that it wasn't the summers and it wasn't the hours, because all of that stuff is great. And listen, if you're listening to this and this is your first summer, maybe we don't know when people listen to these. Sometimes it's like the next day that comes out. Sometimes it's like on the book field, because I found out kids listen to us on the book field. But like, if you're listening to this and you're out there, do it and do the shit out of it. It's a great experience. It
Yes. Do
changes your
it.
life. It's phenomenal. I will never
Yes.
not say that, right?
Yes.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how sometimes the leadership of the company fails the company and fails the people that it's serving internally, not as customers, but as people who work with them. And there's things that can be better. Who am I to say my company itself can be better? That company can be better. Any company can be better. So
Right.
I'm not trying to like
Right.
pick on them specifically, but because of the nature of our show, we can easily point out from experience, even at this point, just there's things about the process that even in 2022, as it turns out, are still parts of the problem. Because I wish I could be like, hey, this is new. This hasn't been the way it's always been. I've talked to people before who never had this. No, we've had people who here who sold in the 70s who had this problem, right? Or people
Mm-hmm.
who sold in the 90s that had this problem. And so that
Mm-hmm.
seems to be a thing about, maybe it's the nature of the job, maybe it's the nature of the way the company's ran, but it
I
is what it
mean,
is. Either
it's
way, it's great for me because we do
it's
this.
it's a company ran by human beings.
Right. Exactly.
Like
Perfectly said. Yes.
there's gonna be faults.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's right. And so
yeah,
it's fine.
it's
It's
okay.
fine. And now, hey,
And
here's the thing. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you being here. I'm proud of you sharing, and I'm proud of what you're doing because as a little Hispanic kid, here's what maybe you haven't considered. So let me tell you again from the perspective to go first circle and then go back and then go to the ponytails. I will never forget Mrs. Para in second grade and Mrs. Morledge, my second grade teacher, who were the only ones that made me not feel stupid when my peers did because they understood that I'm not a fucking dumb person because I don't speak the language that everyone else seems to know. And people, even if it's one of your kindergarten kids or if it's all of them, but one of those kids is going to remember Mrs. S or Miss S, right? And they're going to go, oh my gosh, in kindergarten, Miss Schwandt believed in me and now I'm curing cancer.
Why'd you have to
Now
do this?
I'm just telling you. So think of those kids whenever you think of Morts and whoever else told you that this was a fucking mistake or that you were being selfish or that you were being stupid. Fuck them. Okay. Think of the kids whose lives you're making a difference in. And trust me, they're going to remember you because I know. So on that note, congratulations.
Oh, that was so nice. I didn't think you were gonna go and make me cry tonight.
I have that effect on people.
I should have known. I cry at everything.
You're like my wife.
Everything.
Our dog will be pooping. She's like, nature is so beautiful. My wife is awesome.
We would get along so well.
Oh yeah, you would love Bree. Bree's a shit.
So well. That's
Hell
funny.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. That's really nice to hear.
Anytime.
Because I don't know, I love my job so much. Like there's not a single ounce of regret in me for the decision that I made. Like there were days I would wake up to go sell books and be like, there's no fucking way I'm about to go do this again. And same thing with recruiting. Like there were just days where I was like, I cannot believe I'm doing this right now. Like this is not what I want to be doing, but I kept doing it anyways. And I don't know, I think it was mostly because I didn't want to lose my friends in Southwestern. And because that's the whole reason why I joined in the first place, right? Like full circle here, like full circle. But there's not a single day yet where I've woken up and have not wanted to go to work and like love on those kids. And like every day is just like so much fun. Like there's no way that you don't hang out with like 19 5-year-olds all day long, whether you like kids or not, and like not laugh at some point in your
Oh
day.
yeah.
And
When
not
you need to be
freaking
a rock.
like yeah, like like there's no way you don't like belly laugh at some point in your day when you're with 19 5-year-olds. Like they just I don't know, they're amazing, they're incredible, and they're so smart. I can't believe how smart they are. I have some 5-year-olds who literally translate for me.
I know that feeling. Yeah. I had to do
That's
that for my parents.
insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're that smart. And just like every day, I'm just so amazed and so impressed by how smart every single one of them are. And the staff that I work with, amazing, encouraging. Like, I feel like I can bring my whole self to work. And like, I, I, it's just such a different work environment than what Southwestern was for me. So there's not an ounce of regret.
That's fucking yes. Good for you.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. Are you still drinking?
No, they're gone.
Oh, you're done. Okay, because now
I
we can
could
go
have
into
Baron bring me
details.
another one.
You should. Well, I was just gonna say we should take a. I was gonna take a shot with you and just be like to life after Southwestern Airlines or Southwest Airlines. I see. I got
Okay,
it. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wait. It's coming.
It's coming. By the way, we got to get Baron on the show.
We
Because
do.
Southwestern
Do we want to have him?
Southwest. Yeah, he can come say hi if he wants to. We have no problem doing that.
No,
We've
but
done
you
it
mean
before.
like his own little episode?
Yeah. One
Yes.
because we're big fans of Southwestern Real Estate. I don't know if people know, but we're sponsored by Southwestern Real Estate. So if you want to be like Baron and find a
Nice.
really cool place to land, it's a great company to work for, and I would like to have him come and tell me why at some point in the future. So maybe we can have him
Come
on
here, come say hi.
at some point. What up?
What's good, Andres?
How's it going? Hey, let's do a quick plug for Southwestern Real Estate. What do you like working about it? What do you like about working there?
I love the people. I'm working with Megan O'Connell right now. She sold, I think she probably sold one of your super selling, right? Maybe a little bit.
I don't know.
after.
Speak. I think Rachel has the microphone, so speak into Rachel's ear.
Oh, I got both of them now. It sounds like.
There you go.
I love working with them so far. I just started, so haven't gotten too much into it, but super welcoming, and they basically answer any question you have. It's basically like working with book people, but it's houses. So
Yeah. Pat Roach
Can't
says
really go wrong.
it's like Southwestern, but 99% drama free.
amen to that. Yeah, I
Hell
basically just showed up and I asked Megan. I was like, "Hey, when can I start working?" And the week after I asked, she gave me a house to show, and she's like, "All right, here, show this house for me." So kind of just jumped right into it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if you're open to it, Rachel should have the link from Naomi on how to get on the show. So just send it over, and I'll talk to you sometime in a couple weeks.
Dope. Yeah, I'm down.
Hell yeah. Sweet.
Hell yeah.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to see you again.
Let's
You
go.
have it.
That's so. Okay, so you have a
There you
drink.
have it.
I have a bit of
Huh?
shot here. Have a little. If you have a drink, have a shot. Let's do this, and then we'll go into the ponytail.
Ponytails.
Ooh, that's gonna be a soundbite. Say it again.
Ponytails.
Let's go. All right, cheers. To little kids that speak Spanish. Or I should say, to los niños pequeños que hablan español.
Oh yes, I've been learning so much Spanish, Andres. So
I'm proud of you.
much.
I'm
So
proud of you.
much. I'm proud of
Hey,
myself.
I will figure out a way to get you, whether it's like you get one on Amazon and I'll just Venmo you for what it is. Get yourself a copy of this. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
If I can, we'll figure out a way to get to. I don't have any copies on me because I never do because I'm through Amazon. So I'll figure out a way to get it to you or something.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll talk over the show.
Yes, okay.
My help with some perspective of some of those kids if they're foreign. I don't know. I guess I'm assuming they're foreign. They only speak Spanish.
That'd be cool. Their parents definitely are. I don't know about them themselves.
Yeah, I understand. So, hell yeah, los niños pequeños. I'm proud of you learning Spanish. That's legit. If you ever have questions about how to learn Spanish, feel free to call me, text me.
Okay, cool.
I'm there. Yeah, I got some tips on how to learn some languages.
Doing some Duolingo.
Yeah, that's a good start. It's a good start. And if for anybody listening, if you want a tip on how to do this, here's what my first suggestion is: pick a movie that you love so much, whether it's The Princess Diaries or The Lord of the Rings. I don't give a shit.
That's a good tip.
And it's got to be a movie that you can quote, like from front to end. So for me, it was the show Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Z. Every little Hispanic kid loves Dragon Ball Z. My dogs are named Goku and Bulma. That's how much I love
I
Dragon
have
Ball Z.
a kid in my class who just is obsessed with drawing Goku.
Yeah, same.
Well,
yeah,
not
all little
Goku.
Hispanic kids. It's like a Hispanic, especially any Hispanic kid in the 90s. They know. So for me, that's what it was. Pick that movie, and then literally watch it in only Spanish. And watch it because you know you love the movie. You know what they're saying, but then you won't know what they're saying, but you'll know what they mean. And so next thing you know,
it would be Mean Girls.
I knew Octubre 4 or whatever that is. It third
Honestly, when you were talking about like math, like being like a safe place for you, it reminded me.
You know,
because there's a part where
I aim to please.
She's like, there's only one language in math or something like that. I don't know.
Yo, let's get off schedule one last time. Go watch a movie, or maybe you should figure out how to work at EnLight.Energy. Alex Black is crushing it down there, and a former DSM, Julio Hernandez, are both running this company. And man, they are cranking 10 people on their team and growing. It's enough that Alex only has to sell like one thing every other week and make over 6 figures. So if you want to learn more about that and maybe help change the planet, click on the link below. That's true. It's I've wanted to talk about so many different things on this podcast, but Mean Girls, I was playing bingo and I just hit bingo. It was in the same line as Cocaine at Sizzler and Meeting Your Wife. And then Mean Girls. So now
Okay.
I hit ponytails bingo. You should even turn it into a drinking game. Like every time one of the guests says or something, like that'd be hilarious.
That would be
Yes,
hilarious.
ponytails drinking games. I think Amy, write that down. We need to do that. Is Ponytails drinking game where we like have our fans be like, all right, go listen to the Run Alfred episode or go listen to these 5 episodes, and we do like a bingo card or something where it's like anytime I mention my book, you take a shot, or which isn't often. I try to not to use it as much, but since we're in the topic,
She actually puts it in the chat.
yeah, oh yeah. And if you're a fan, please leave us a comment as you're listening to this, or send us a DM if you're listening to this and you think this would be a good idea and you'd be down, or you have some funny ideas like that. We'd love to hear from the fans of something we can do like that. Maybe release it in our newsletter or something. That'd be fun. Ooh, write that down. Damn, we're on it. We're on
write
it.
that down.
Ooh,
Flowing.
that's good. Write that down. Southwesternism. Bookism. Systemism, as my brother would say. Okay. We're all over there now. We're just swinging. We're swinging.
Oh, yeah.
How people listening are like, this is funny. I hope they enjoy it. Fuck yeah, ponytails. All right, do you have a couple of stories in mind? It could be 1, it could be 7. I don't give a shit.
I have
your favorite stories. Your favorite stories from the book field.
I might have more as we go along.
Cool. So the only thing I asked, is something that we're trying to do on season 7 is set the scene. Where were we? How were we? What summer? And then tell us the story. Go for it.
Okay. Set the scene. Okay, so both of these stories I'm about to tell took place my first summer.
Yes, we love first summer stories.
First summer stories, the best. So both of them are dog bite stories, right? For some reason, my first summer, I got bit like 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. Twice it drew blood. The other time it just bruised my leg. But so the first time, okay, first summer, West Virginia. The first, oh God. Okay, so the first time I like walked up to this house, and it was like this big house in this nice neighborhood, and they had like beware of dog signs and whatever. And I knocked on the door, and there was like a bunch of cars in the driveway. So I knew they were there. So I knocked like 3 times or something like that. And I hear this dog barking inside. And then all of a sudden I hear it outside. And I'm like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden there's this like giant Saint Bernard, like just like standing over my bag, just like growling and drooling at me. And I'm standing sideways there, right? Like a good little book girl.
That sounds so bad.
And this dog.
Now stand sideways like a good little book girl. Yes.
Sorry. The things that come out of my mouth sometimes are.
Even that.
Maybe cut that out.
No, we're gonna keep all this shit. This is great. That is gonna be a soundbite. We're gonna put this on a trailer. Now stand sideways like a good little book girl. Yes. Sorry. Go on. Saint Bernard. Foaming at the mouth.
Okay.
Kill you. Bigger than you.
So I stick my hand out for it to smell it. Stupid. And it bites it, like chomps it. And I like scream, and I like hop over the fence and like go to my car, go to the side door, like bang on the door, because I'm like, the dog is like still standing over my book bag. I know these people are home. Bang on the door. The daughter comes out like in her towel. Well, she's dressed, but like towel on her head, like she just got out of the shower. And she was like, I was like, your dog just freaking bit me. Like, she's something about her mom not being home. Got her mom's number. She's like, didn't you see the signs? And I was like, if I paid attention to those signs, lady, I couldn't do my job. And she was like, oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
And so I called the mom. Like the next day, just to make sure the dog has its shots. Call her, ask. She's like, yeah, has its shots. You're fine. You're good. She's like, what are you doing anyways? Told her. She's like, oh, okay. You should actually stop by my office sometime. And
There's a pony and a dog in this house.
Yes, exactly. So then I set up a meeting with her at her office. She's like, maybe this time come to my office, not my house. So I set up a meeting with her and her daughter at her office. They get the CEA. Score. And I realized I was sitting there and I was like, did I see your son come out in a UND jersey? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, she's like, we're from North Dakota. And I was like, bitch, what? I'm from North
I'm from
Dakota.
Fargo.
Fargo. So yeah, that was a cool story. And then so
That's
that's the
so
first.
dope. Did you know them? There's not that many people in Fargo. I feel like they're
No,
gonna
I
be
didn't know
third
them.
cousins or something.
Well, I'm from Devil's Lake. They were from Grand Forks, I think.
It's still like 25,000 people combined, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, fine, true.
So many people
No,
go
I
to
didn't know them.
universities. Like,
I
it's
didn't
a
know
strong
them.
chance they are related.
No, but
That's
that
funny.
was fun. And then I got, during my deliveries that same summer, I delivered to this grandma who had been taking care of her grandson, and she was like, you should go see my son. I bet he'd buy some books for his kids. He's got a lot of money. And so I was like, okay. I go over to her son's house, walk up to the door, and there's a cane corso laying in front of the
Oh
door,
my
feeding its
god.
puppies, feeding her
No.
puppies.
Dude,
My
King
dumb
Corso.
ass is like, oh, cute puppy, and still goes to knock on this fucking door. Like, I'm telling you, the reason I got bit 3 times my first summer is because I wasn't careful, like, about dogs, like, at all. Like, I just was like, oh, a fucking King Corso feeding its puppies, cute. Let me step over it and knock on this door it's laying on. What? That's so stupid. And so, of course, this dog basically attacks me, and it chomps down on my hand, like, latches on my hand, and then it, like, runs away, and I stand outside and I'm just, like, screaming. The dad comes out of the house, and he's like, DILF. And
He's a DILF. Let's go.
DILF.
Oh yeah. You have to be a
DILF.
DILF to have a Cane Corso.
DILF.
Or King Corso.
He was yummy. And he comes out and is like, what's happening? And I like told him, and I was like, your mom sent me here because of this, this, and this, and your dog just bit me. And I was like, can you please take me to the ER because my hand's like fucking gushing blood.
If it's poisonous, can you suck on it, please?
So he takes me to the ER, sits with me at the ER, ties my little mask on my face. It was a fun little.
You are in heaven.
So
oh,
romantic.
my hand's
It was
throbbing.
so fun.
Please massage it. You milking it. Like,
But
you
get
couldn't
this-
do this the other way around. This is some
Get
bullshit.
this, wait, the story gets better. So they treat me at the ER, and then they're like, you need to go get these meds. And I'm like, okay, Walmart, I'll go get them there. He like leaves to like go change or something, comes and picks me up. And then we go to Walmart together, and he's like, you want to smoke this blunt with me? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to smoke this blunt with you. So we're like chilling, waiting for my meds, and we're like smoking together. Oh my God. I'm like,
Jeez.
yeah, okay, whatever. So then we get my meds. He pays for my meds, of course, because it was his freaking dog that bit me. We go back to his house. We go inside, and his kids like look at all my books, and his baby mama's there, and I'm like freaking shaking because I'm like so nervous because I felt like I was like, wait, what?
You're out here thinking it was all romantic and he was about to take you home and be like,
No, I wasn't thinking that. I just was like, okay, we were kind of like flirting a little bit. I didn't think he had like a whole family, and then we like go home and there's like well, he said
This is
his kids
tea.
were gonna get books, so I knew he had kids and whatever, but I like didn't think that they all like were together and living together. I don't know what I thought was going on.
this
So
is
we go
you
there.
wishful thinking. This is called
Yeah,
wishful
I
thinking,
don't know.
folks. It's a classic case.
Actually, he's a rapper. If anyone wants to look him up, it's Double Vaughn on YouTube.
Oh, hey man, there's a story about you now. Hope you enjoy. You just caused a divorce.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my story. So we go home, he buys some books, and then I leave and I go deliver the rest of my books and whatever. That was
the
my
baby
delivery
mama
day.
cool? Was
Yeah,
the
she
baby
was
mama
cool.
cool?
She was cool.
Dude, they were probably like open relationship type stuff.
Yeah,
Folks
they
are weird
definitely
out in West
are.
Virginia.
Now that I added him on Snapchat, and we've actually like kept up over the years. And
Oh
Not
my
like
god, the
that much
onion
anymore.
gets sweeter. The
But
onion
I
gets
actually went
juicier.
back to West Virginia the next year, and we almost had, but we didn't.
Oh shit.
But yeah,
Wow. And then you found
wild
out they're
story.
dating, but they date.
But I just realized it's just his baby mama. I don't even think they
Uh,
date. I
Wow,
think they just
this
live
episode's
together for
had
the
it all,
kids.
man. We've been out here like talking about DILFs, children of immigration, dog bites, segregation. God damn, we are here. We are here. This is an episode. Damn. Did you think of more
There we go.
stories, or
There you have it.
have we arrived?
Um,
It's gonna be hard to top
um,
the weed smoking DILF with the kitty
yeah,
course. It's a
yeah,
badass dog. It's a
that is
badass
pretty
dog.
hard to top.
I wanted one of those dogs.
I
They're
think
just
so.
huge. They're like 130
It
pounds.
was actually a tiny
Me.
one, thank God.
Oh, it was a small one. Oh yeah, because it was a as some communities would call it a bitch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, exactly.
just
That's right.
sorry about it.
No, but I think those are about the only two. I mean, there was a family this summer who like literally just bought everything, and they were like moving to Florida in like a week or two. And like usually when people are moving, they're like, we're not gonna buy
We'll buy
anything
it.
right now, we're moving,
Yeah.
right? They just got everything and shipped it to themselves. They were just a cool family. I
You
almost
should
didn't
check in on
stay
them and make sure
either.
they're alive.
I should.
Or if they need more books, you
Oh,
might make
I
a couple
should.
$100.
Yeah.
Maybe the books are
I
underwater.
almost didn't sit. Oh, it was actually a family I was judging hardcore because when I pulled up to their house, like I had been there like a couple times, and the dogs were like they looked sick and like nasty, and then like
Oh,
their house outside was just like not the cleanest, and then I got inside and mom wasn't there, so like there he was like, but you can wait and she'll be here soon, and it was like one of those things where you're like, I don't know if I should like really wait here or like how long this is gonna take if I wait, like, and then I ended up getting everything. So
and they showed up and here's $1,500.
mom showed up and
We'll take the lot.
we're like $2,100.
That's what a bag costs now? Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Yes. Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. My first summer a bag I think was like $13.85. I sold 3 and I was proud.
How old are
That's how I
you?
remember that. Me? Well, we were doing paper maps, if you need to know.
Wow.
I am 30. I just turned 30 recently. So
I'm just
mind
fucking
you.
with you.
No, it's all good. I own it. I own 3rd floor. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
People take you seriously at the 3rd floor. Yeah, so I've been 1987. I'm just kidding. No, in 2012 was my first summer.
Okay. Random little tangent here, but I've met your mom. Cool lady.
If I had a dollar,
Love her.
I don't know that I'm proud that I know that that's not the first time someone said that to me. How the fuck? Let's talk about
She
my
is
mom.
awesome.
How did you meet my mom?
Awesome. I love her.
Well, she had
Well,
like
she
a
was
key
at a
persons or something.
thing. Yeah, to watch
Taking care
Vaco.
of Vaco. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. My mom's a shit. My dad's a shit too.
I have not met your dad, but I've met your mom. She's amazing. I love her. I'm pretty
Fucking
sure we sat
Sandy.
and talked for like a good 20 minutes.
Well, if Sandy's listening, which she probably is because she supports me.
She may
She
not
always
remember
believes in
me,
me.
but I love you, Sandy.
Oh, dude, she remembers everybody. She's like Dan Moore that way, where she's like, "Oh yeah, yes, Drew, from the time we were at Florida talking about life." You're like, "Fucking what?" She might not remember your name, but she'll know you. She'll remember that you're a teacher or whatever. Like, that's my best Sandra accent. It's a Sandra. There's a little bit of alcohol, and then we can wrap this bitch up. Here, are you done? Are you done
No,
with your
I just
drink?
opened another one.
Oh, were you
You
gonna
mean
have to
am I
chug it?
done?
Oh no. Well, then if
I had to chug it.
no, you don't have to chug it. Just take a big ass fat gulp. I'm taking another shot here for you.
Okay.
Here we go. To Sandra. To Sandra.
Sandra.
The coolest host mom in the company. I hate
That was
vodka.
nothing to drink. Hi, Charlie.
This is Swiss vodka, so or Swedish vodka.
And the cutest dog in the whole world.
I will debate on that for sure, but I think we're here. I think we've arrived. I think we're at the finish line.
I think so. Yeah.
Good, Rachel.
Good episode.
Blast. This was a great episode.
Blast.
We knew it was gonna be good from the sound check. We were like, oh, yes. And again, shared trauma shows that it can connect people. Once again, let's go. If anything, that's what the show can prove.
Yes.
How did you before we close out? How did you feel? How was it? How was it for you?
It was good. It was so good. It felt really good. It felt good to just like talk about the things I haven't really got to talk about and remember all the good things and remember that like overall it was a really great experience and I'm super thankful for everything that I learned. And I know that I grew a ton from it. And I was just excited to be on this podcast in the first place because
Well, thank you.
it's just getting, no. I was like, cool. Okay, yeah, I'll do a podcast.
Hell yeah. Tell your friends about us.
Tell your friends.
As Ted Lasso would say, it's kind of like growing your first pube in it. It's good.
Sure.
So
Okay.
on that quote, we'll just wrap it up on this one. Hey guys, thank you so much. Again, my name is Andres Gamboa. Make sure you sign up to all the stuff that you sign up for, like as in like subscribe, likes, follow, all that bullshit, Instagram things. Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review, please. Please leave us a review. I beg. We are units, so we need more units. I know we need reviews. Please do that. Go check out our merch. Go to theponytailspodcast.com. Thank you so much for everybody who stuck around the whole episode. I mean, it happens often, but still, thank you for being that person. So you are awesome. Thank you so much. See you guys later. I've been with Rachel Schwandt. Bye.